Our part in the naming of the Canberra began with the traditional photochemical restoration of the components which were chosen to restore the film. These were 100-year-old nitrates of 3 different iterations. The 2 main components, the original print that we had and the duplicate negative that had been struck from that at some stage in the past, make up the bulk, more than 95% of what we actually used. The 100-year-old films, as I'm sure you understand, were very old and brittle and were difficult to print. Using our TIA debris wetgate printer, we were able to make new polyester copies of what we had. But unfortunately, in that process, you keep all of the issues associated with their age. The stability of the image was still there, and the frame line issues, because prior to sound, there were all sorts of different manufacturers who had different standards. Having watched those films a few times, we decided that for stability and dust removal that we would do a digital restoration. In 2006, the NFSA had been involved with the digital restoration of the story of the Kelly gang. Shortly after we had finished that project, we purchased some software which had been used from an Austrian company, HS Art, Diamond Restoration, for digital film restoration. It's a specialised software designed to use the frames at either side and the motion to automatically remove a lot of the dirt and scratches and to stabilise the image. Having decided that we would continue down this digital restoration path, we upgraded the software, and in July 2012 we purchased the latest version of the Diamond software, which had an added feature, the dust bust, which essentially gave you much more of a Photoshop feel and more interaction with the tools. The first problem we had was that we had 2 components and thousands of scans. When a scan of a feature film is done, what you get back is quite literally 18 to 20,000 still images. Sorting through those still images and comparing them was a bit of an issue. We spent a bit of time then making them all seamless as close as we could so that they would play as a contiguous sequence. Unfortunately, for such film with so many issues, both the 16 frames a second, the physical damage the film had suffered, and the fact that it was consisting of 2 different components, meant that we basically had to go through it frame by frame using different settings, a task we had not anticipated and we hadn't hoped to do. That added an enormous amount of time to the job, and it's made us very intimately aware of every single frame in the film. As I say, the final construction consists of over 18,000 individual frames, which we had slowly gone through frame by frame, working out the best possible sequence. Once the dust busting was well underway and we had a routine in place, it was just morning and afternoon removing. The quick time that we're viewing side by side, we do at the end. The software allows you to do a removal of what you have done, going back as many iterations as you like. So even though when you're finished, or think you've finished, you can watch the film, identify areas where you hadn't seen a tree removed, a hand gone, a hat distorted, go back and undo just that bit all the way back to the original. Watching that film a number of times with the curatorial team to make sure that we hadn't created too many new artefacts. The object of the exercise was create as close to what the original was, remove 100 years of accumulated dust and grime, the noise of history, and let the original film shine through.